what would a Sox Cycling broadcast be without a LaRusaPalooza segment? And he's at it again. I'm referring to Tony's big book of analytics, which probably hasn't been updated since the mid '90s. Because
it's there, it's dusty. Like he dusts it off every so often, but when it
yeah,
doesn't fit his agenda, he doesn't open it or whatever explanation
yeah,
he's coming up with. Kind of
because
works.
what he looks at, I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know, and I'm gonna talk about two things in particular, both in this Toronto series. Most recently was the extra innings game that the Sox ended up winning, but why the left side? In fact, the infield as a whole for Toronto is one of the most solid infields in baseball. But on the left side in particular, maybe Matt Chapman's not hitting the ball, but he is a fantastic defensive third baseman.
Yep.
Put Bo Bichette next to him, who is an incredible shortstop too.
Former Lugnut.
You've got runners on the corners, no out. So it's not like, you're trying to force a situation, have someone make a mistake with a couple outs in the area. Why is the contact play on with both of those guys on the left side of the infield? The chances of Danny Mendick, we're not talking even like Lewis Robert is at third, who has incredible wheels. Danny Mendick has probably average, maybe slightly above average speed, but he's not a burner. You don't even have a burner at third. They run the contact play with no outs.
Who was batting?
Mendick, I think Robert was batting actually at that point. Mendick gets thrown out at home. So now we got one out, runners on first and second. We end up not scoring a run that inning. Yeah. And it's just questionable. Like, you've got above average defensive people in these positions. Why is that play even on? Why? Because Mendick at third with one out. Now we've got a chance still to have a deep fly ball score a run. Like you've just removed all that situation completely.
Yeah.
To me, it was just terrible managing.
Well, in the grand scheme of things, this is probably less of a circus than what we've experienced in the last few weeks with La Russa, the LaRusaPalooza, as we like to call it. But because of all this other shit, everything he does now has to be scrutinized. He doesn't get the benefit of the doubt anymore.
No, I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt on that.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at. Where if there's something questionable like that, you're not going to buy his explanation, because his explanations, as you pointed out, don't make any sense. Sometimes it's analytics, sometimes it's his gut. Sometimes
that's got to be his gut.
Yeah, well, every time he has no idea why anyone would ever question one of his decisions, no matter what.
Was that even a question?
Yeah.
What are we talking about here?
I've got some new imaging for our intro to the LaRusaPalooza. I pulled that quote. So
yeah, the new intro you sent me is awesome. Follow up. Let's get to the game I was at, which will work for a perfect transition into.
That's right. We had some Pete at the park,
or into Pete at the park and box seat manager. Joe Kelly is back, and for some reason, Tony decided to use Kendall Graveman in the eighth, even though Kendall Graveman saved 10 games for Seattle like a year ago, and then brought Joe Kelly in as a closer. Now let's get to Tony's big book of analytics, which should have told him that Joe Kelly is 1-4 with a 4.78 ERA in save situations. That includes 14 home runs allowed.
Ooh,
well, it would have been 13 until that game, which he has 14 now, because a 3-run lead turned into a 2-run lead. Thankfully, Kelly got out of it. But again, why? I mean, they're both right-handers, so it's not a matchup thing. Like, why do you like Kendall Graveman in the 8th inning there? The guy who has better experience, better numbers as a closer, versus Joe Kelly, who in save situations has not performed well. I mean, he's 1-4 with 6 saves in it was like 82 games in save situations. That's not good. So again, what are we looking at here? Maybe, I didn't go back and look at the 4 batters he ended up facing. Maybe his numbers, specifically against those guys were better and Graveman's were better. But again, we all know, and White Sox fans experienced it last year. You got closer mentality is a lot different, and closers can't be hold guys, and hold guys can't be closers sometimes. So why even put yourself in that situation? I would say Kelly in the 8th, Graveman in the 9th until, Hendricks is back. So again, everything to your point now, you just got to question, because I can look up these numbers. If I can look up these numbers on the internet, why aren't the White Sox looking at these numbers in the dugouts before these decisions are being made? And there's got to be.
Where's Ethan Katz?
Where are they? Right, exactly.
A lot of people have asked that question. How much is he able to even communicate with TLR? Is this a one-way communication? Is there collaboration? You'd think, you'd think someone like Ethan Katz, I'm guessing, is more of a new school type person with the access to and the embracement of analytics. Is that just falling on deaf ears? There's no way to know that, or one way or the other. But it just seems like that's a likely thing, that TLR just puts up the hand and say, "Shut the fuck up! I know what I'm doing. My ample gut will tell me what needs to happen here."
Yeah, it's like they talk before the game, and he's like, "Well, today I like Graveman in the 8th and Kelly in the 9th, and it's a done deal."
Seems like
maybe
that could be it.
Yeah.
Word Hole Media.